Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Hey, welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast, episode number 24. Today we're gonna spend some time talking about finish our Kiss catalog. We're going to go from Unplugged to Monster. Won't be a very long ride, but there's a lot of rehashed albums that came out during that time, so we'll spend a little bit of time talking about that. I think I got flustered because the sun's out and I must be a vampire because we usually record at night, so it got me all whacked out. Anyway, so we have to start with some news. We all know that today, when we record this, will be on Saturday. So we know that Prince died a couple days ago on Thursday. So just want to spend a little bit of time talking about that. I think Alan had some big news. He's no longer a virgin, which is good. But the rest of us, Dennis and I, we were de-virginized a long time ago. But for me, Prince is somebody I've always liked. From the very first time I heard "I Want to Be Your Lover," I thought it was a cool song. In Purple Rain, not the greatest movie of all time, but I was in high school and Lisa and I saw it in the theater. I can't tell you how many times because it was just one of those things. The music was really good and the access to the music wasn't like it is today. So I think that is the first one of the people that have died recently that really, for me personally, struck me more than the rest. I mean, David Bowie, I like David. I mean, David Bowie's okay. He wasn't somebody I listened to. Lemmy is, I get it, phenomenal, in the metal world, but not somebody I listened to a lot of. So, and same thing with, the Eagles were the Eagles, but that was a little bit before I got into stuff in teen. So for me, the teen stuff that, as a teenager, Prince was really somebody in that era that really, for me, somebody that's passed away. So I've said for me 14 times now. So yeah. There you go. There's an Easter egg.
Well, until last night, I had never actually seen the movie Purple Rain. So I guess my friend Lee put it pretty well. Purple Rain is the Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park of the 80s. The music is great. The movie, not so much. And you said something about Prince, his death kind of having an effect on you. I got to thinking back. From what I can remember, there are only two celebrities that have passed that kind of had an effect on me, one being Eric Carr back in 91. But, of course, that was back before every little tidbit of news was on the internet and you knew what was going on with everybody. So his death caught me totally by surprise. And I just was flabbergasted that a man that young would die of heart cancer or lung cancer or any kind of cancer for that matter. And then the second artist that I wasn't surprised that he died, but, it still really bummed me out when Lane Staley died because I always really, really hoped that he could kick those demons. But that's my two bummer celebrity deaths, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I seen Purple Rain, back in the day. When Prince first come out, it took a long time for me to get past the fluff and the ruffles and it's like every time I wouldn't never really give the music a chance, much less him a chance, And then later on, then you start. Because even when he was playing guitar on stage on these films, he's doing. It's like, boy, that's the worst fake acting guitar playing I've ever seen. I was just kind of like, oh, he's just such a basically a douche. But then you find out that he is a guitar player. I mean, he's
a damn good guitar player.
Damn good guitar player. And if you sit down and you take away the fluff and take away the ruffle and you just sit and listen to the music is really good. I mean, the music is awesome. So there, it took me a while to get into the point where I really liked Prince. The thing that was funny, Alan talking about people that, that if it bothered you or whatever, Alan sent me a thing yesterday. We were texting back and forth and he goes, we need to do a show on, celebrities and that have died and made a made it, made you feel bad or whatever. And I texted back. I said, well, when that happens, I'll let you know. And it wasn't me. He's kind of like, you're a heartless asshole. And I'm not going, it just hasn't happened for me yet. I've not, there's been people like when Randy Rose died, it's like, oh man, that sucks. And like I told him, I said, it sucks that the fact that we won't ever get any music out of him. But, I was watching the TV on like CNN the other night. And they were there in front of his compound, and these people, adults, our age, men, grown men sitting there crying, talking about Prince, and I was like, man, I just don't get that yet. But say it's never really happened for me. But like I told Alan, I said, I think if one of the original Kiss members died, I think that's going to be the one that's going to, probably get to me, because I spent so much time listening to him and getting into him and stuff like that. I've just never had that. There's been people, like you said, that I really admire, but they died. Okay, it's they're not like losing a family member or a good friend. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm sure that will happen at some point. But no, he did have a huge impact. I mean, good Lord. I mean, MTV actually at 157, I think yesterday, went straight to nonstop videos. He made MTV play videos again.
just
they were all
Prince videos, or just all videos?
They went Prince videos.
Oh, cool.
Basically just did a nonstop Prince video, and then they played, of course, I think later on that night I checked it just to make sure, and of course Purple Rain was on at that point, because I think all of them have the rights to it now. Basically, been playing it. Actually, it's been on lately a lot. So,
well, speaking of Purple Rain, I got one more thing to say about it.
Sure.
Shout out to Apollonia's boobies.
Shout.
I did see last night though that they were, or Thursday, that they were rushing it to the theaters.
Yeah,
and trying to out this weekend so that
it will.
So people could see it, or they can make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
Here's my quick question about Prince. Prince is not married. I know he
has been married 2 or 3 times.
Did he ever have kids?
He has no children. His parents are both dead, and he has one sister that I believe was 2 years younger than him.
So my question is, who's going to inherit all this fortune?
Well, my wife was kind of looking some of that stuff up, and she seems to believe that the Jehovah's Witnesses will end up with the proceeds from that. But I mean, I'm sure that his sister will contest it.
Right.
Wow. I could see this turning into...
Oh, it's going to be a fiasco.
Well,
dude.
I can see it turning into the same thing. Jimi Hendrix, his sister, to this day still controls his financial, the catalog, things like that. And she is very protective, and she is not afraid to whip out a lawyer on you.
Right.
I can't whoop ass.
Well, they were talking last night. They said that he's got probably, they said he recorded all the time.
Yeah.
They said they don't know actually how much is there, but they know that there's so much unreleased stuff that he's been doing. That he records all the time.
And he's also shot videos that as soon as they got shot, they went straight to the vault.
Yeah. So, there's no telling how much stuff he's sitting on right now. Yeah, we could be seeing new Prince stuff for years to come.
Well, they said that about Michael Jackson, too. You remember there was all that stuff about, and there was like one album that came out and then nothing. You haven't heard anything else about it.
I don't think
I think it's different, though. I think you're right. I think Prince was doing stuff consistently.
Well, I think Prince was also a little more financially responsible than Michael Jackson was.
Yes.
So yeah, it appears as
he
such.
wasn't out.
And a lot of the Michael Jackson stuff, may be tied up with, because he was in such debt when he died. Right. A lot of that stuff may not have come out because they can't afford to put it out.
Michael had other interests than music.
Stop.
I'll stop right there.
And on that note,
we're going to switch gears here and start talking about Kiss.
There we go.
Our
I'm going to get us back on track.
Our favorite band. Oh my God! All right, so we're going to start off with an album that changed the. We're going to start off with Unmasked. Well, we've done Unmasked. We're not doing that again. We're not. No. If you put something up there about the Elder, I'm going to just turn you off. So.
Oh, I'm the one that's got the record button. So there.
No, I'm just going to unskype you. Anyway, so this album kind of rekindled the whole fire for Kiss. So, Kiss Unplugged, 1995. first of all, before we get too deep into that, I got to correct that last week I mentioned that Reb Beach was from the band Europe, and I was wrong.
You were wrong.
I was wrong. He was from the band Winger.
Nice.
And Don Dokken, I think, was drunk the night he said he was from Europe. So I'm going to blame it on Don.
Blame it on Don Dokken. He's not here to defend
he's
himself.
never going to hear this, and I don't give a shit.
Don actually said that?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what I
That's awesome.
I didn't make it up.
That's funny.
Maybe Bill drank a little too much at the Dokken show.
No, I didn't. I was the driver. Didn't drink. Nope. I was the DD, so didn't drink.
Good deal.
Okay, anyway, so we're going to talk about Kiss Unplugged. So let's see. This is the album that took place during the kind of the compilation of stuff that was going on with the Kiss conventions. They've been doing some Unplugged shows before that, and then it kind of cultivated with the rest of the Unplugged series that was going on with MTV. So some magic happened at this show that created the reunion tour. So let's see. It was in 1996. This is when the original members got back together for at least a couple songs. 2000 Man, Beth, Nothing to Lose, and Rock and Roll All Night. And that hadn't happened since what year was that? Did they actually? Do we know when they really all actually played last? Do you guys know?
I could find out real quick.
Something on the Dynasty tour.
Yeah, and I don't even remember when on the Dynasty tour because they did some overseas stuff. So it was really. I bring that up, and I'm going to get in trouble for that. So
I'm going to look it up real quick.
But I know that it was the first time they'd played in many, many years. The cool part about this for me was the video was that at one point in time, there you go. They all played together. Eric and Peter and Bruce and Ace and Gene and Paul. I thought that was really cool.
That was fantastic.
I thought it was just really, really cool. And I thought especially with Nothing to Lose with Eric and Peter trading, vocals and stuff. To me was magical. If they thought it was magical, watching it on MTV was magical to me. So it really, I was really, really intrigued. Yes, sir.
Okay. December 16th, 1979, Toledo, Ohio. This was Peter Criss's final show during his original tenure with Kiss, and also the final live performance of Move On. It was 6,700 people. The Rockets opened up. It was at the Sports Arena in Toledo, Ohio.
Wow.
So
Toledo, Ohio.
Yep.
Well, at least they're known for something.
Yep. Facts.
Facts. Thanks for the fact checker.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. So what do you guys got for this? What do you think?
Unplugged is my all-time favorite live Kiss album, specifically because Kiss did not have control over the recording, and what you hear is what you get. If anybody has ever seen it, there's a bootleg floating around called Uncut Unplugged, and there were several of those songs that they performed 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Because they got through like the first 4 songs, and MTV is like, we're going to have to go do those again because something's wrong with the recording. So they recorded all of those songs until they got a good take from everyone, or what was a good enough, or what they considered a good enough take. So for that reason, and the fact that you got Coming Home, Going Blind, stuff like that, Plaster Caster, you never heard them really play that stuff live. That was fantastic that when they brought it out live for the first time, they did it with acoustic guitars, and it sounded so much better than the original recordings.
And you still don't hear it live.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, that, and those are deep cuts. Back then they were deep cuts, and today they're deeper cuts. But it'd be good to hear some of that stuff.
But you were speaking of this kind of culminating from the Unplugged tour and the conventions or whatever.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious to me at the conventions that they were on a fishing expedition to see how the fans would gauge a reunion tour, because they showed videos in the background, and all you saw was the original 4 members. You didn't see anything with Eric Carr in it. You didn't see anything with Vinnie Vincent. it was just video from up into the Dynasty tour, and all of the stuff that they brought out of their warehouses, was all stuff in makeup. They did bring out Vinny and
Like
Eric's
Eric's
costumes and stuff like
the
that.
Hawk and a couple of those
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
But I mean, it was really obvious because the fans would shout out about a reunion tour, and they were like, "Nah, we don't think that'll work. What do you think?" So it was a fishing expedition, a successful one, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, sounds
Maybe just a little,
a little successful.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Top grossing tour for 3 years in a row, I think, or something like that, close to it. So,
Yeah.
a little successful.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to go. I've seen 2 of those. I went to Indianapolis. I went to Nashville, and when they first said that they were going to be doing an acoustic set, I'm like, Kiss acoustic? What the hell is this going to be like? And it was really good. I mean, it was raw. They at that point they tried. They had their stock show that they were going to do. They're coming home and songs that they had. Going Blind, stuff that they had down pretty pat. But, they were really open to suggestions. They tried stuff, that didn't work out. They get maybe through half of it or a quarter of it just for fun.
Or they knew the music, but they didn't know the lyrics, so the
Right.
audience sang, which
Right.
I thought
So-
that was really fun.
That's the thing about it was a really intimate thing. I mean, like you said, you went to one of them too. And, it was
Yeah, I was
back
in
where
Nashville.
it was, you were all sitting there on the floor. You were just 1,000 people was sitting there, and it was really, it was really neat.
One of
that
the
part of it.
One of the funniest things about that is we all know that Paul is terrible with album names.
Right.
And he would say, I think this comes off of Hotter Than Hell. No, that's off Love Gun.
Yeah. So we're not the only ones that gets facts wrong.
Yeah,
So they get it themselves.
That's right. If Paul can screw it up, so can we.
That's right.
The thing was, though, I'm like you. It was a fishing expedition. I mean, this was pre-planned from the get-go. This wasn't because, oh yeah, we've seen how successful that these conventions were. We wanted to do it ourselves and show them how it's done. No, we're going to see how much interest there is and how much excitement we can get out of this. The thing that really this record for me, I like this record a lot, but it killed my next record. And during the thing, they even had some of the artwork for the Carnival, record that was coming out next.
Yeah.
And they talked about that, and they were even talking to him that they talked it up. They actually talked that album up really a bunch at both of those conventions that we're at. Talking about, this is going to be really great. You're going to really like this new music that we're working on, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it's like, man, they shelved that thing hard as a rock. It's like, it's locked up. We listened to bootlegs for years.
It was a little bit locked up.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
Exactly. But no, the album here, I like it a lot. It's one of those ones you can listen to. And like you said, man, you're getting cuts you hadn't heard for years. I mean, that's a breath of fresh air to me, Anyway.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Then we got into the, during that time, right after that, this got finished, then Kiss did go, Eric, Bruce, Gene, and Paul went back into the studio, finished up an album that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, which is Carnival Souls. But that got shelved because during that Unplugged event, the magic rekindled and the fire was lit. And that pretty much set the stage for the next couple of years of the reunion tours and a variety of things, which we're going to get to. But it also set up the stage for the gluttony of Kiss, greatest Kiss albums, greatest hits albums. And there was greatest Kiss, greatest hits. They were just over. I mean, there's just a ton of them if you look at the Kiss catalog. Now, the key about that, and Alan pointed this out earlier, is, to me anyway, is that Kiss had, back in the 80s, sold a lot of the back catalog. So those were not necessarily Kiss supported or what? Reunion. I mean, not reunion. Kiss. Greatest hits albums. They were done by different marketing companies and things like that. So Millennium, and there was just a bunch of other stuff that came out during that time. But there was one that did come out, and it was a Kiss related one, and that was You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best. So that came out in '96, kind of a kickoff thing for the reunion tour. There were some live cuts on there, kind of live. It's supposed to be live, but were doctored a little bit, I think, is what I've read. So, in a couple of different ways. But so let's talk a little bit about you wanted the best, you got the best. So, a lot of some, not a bad album. 14 songs on there. Actually, some of my favorite songs are on this album. If I was going to make one, it'd have almost all of these songs would be on it if I was making my own. But they do. There was a few other little tweaks to this. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Alan?
Yeah. Room Service, Two Timer, Let Me Know, and Take Me. I believe those are the 4 quote unquote new songs that came out on that. And if you listen to the old stuff from Alive and Alive 2, and then you listen to those new songs on there, that's Paul Stanley's 1994, 1995 voice. And and Gene's 94 voice. And in my opinion, that is not Peter Criss playing drums.
The mix is very different too.
They say, the fans who are diehard Peter Criss fans say the only thing that they did different is, when they went back to remix those songs, is they put triggers on those drums. Well, why wouldn't you put triggers on the drums for everything in there that you've remixed? Not just the 4 new songs. So that's me stirring the controversy, the Kiss controversy shit pot, if you will. That I think that some of the music may have been recorded back in the 70s or whatever, but I don't think the vocals were recorded back in the 70s, and I don't think that's Peter Criss on drums.
Well, there's a couple of different places where I read that Bruce Kulick did some overdubs on guitars and that kind of stuff. So that
would
has
not surprise me at all.
There has to be some doctoring that occurred to those somewhat, and that's the thing. When those guys go, say they're all original or whatever, you can tell Paul does not sound the same in 1974 as he did in 1984, 1994, 2004, 2015.
Paul's like a good wine. Paul got better with time up until
he did. He did.
His voice in the 70s is terrible. It's not trained. He's better. He was a better singer when he went to shit. He was a better singer at that point than he was, in the 70s. But the thing is Kiss is they're just notoriously known for redoing these songs. It's not like it'd be like, oh my God, they did what? It's like
they did a new version of Rock Bottom. Oh wait, they've done that song 35,000 times. Anyway, all right. So the next real album that came out that did get leaked for a while. I believe to this day it was a planned leak. There have been people that say it wasn't, but I believe it was a planned leak. I believe it was to get a little bit of action going, get a little record sales going while the reunion tour was going on, to keep the other band alive. If the thing fell to hell in a handbasket, they had something they could fall back on. And I think it was a planned leak. And this is one of my top 5 favorite albums. And that's Carnival Souls.
I heard it was leaked by a drummer.
I wonder which drummer that was.
I don't know.
Yeah. So some interesting things about this album. Definitely a different Kiss album. Probably one of the most different Kiss albums that I think they put out. Definitely a different vein. Kiss has been notorious for years, for album to album. They will try to figure out what the music scene's doing and duplicate
it. Yeah.
Get in that same vein, try to go there, which has probably helped them with sustainability. Other bands, they just try to keep doing what they're doing, and eventually that just runs dry. So, but anyway, definitely more in the grunge vein. But to me, a great album. Very, I think, and I said it before, so I don't want to rehash, but I'm going to. Had this album come out right after Revenge, that would have been the best freaking tour they'd had in years. It would have been loud. It would have been ballsy. It'd have been in your face. It'd have just been wicked.
I feel like something got stolen from me because I wanted to see this tour.
I totally agree with you. The sound from Revenge to Carnival Souls, that progression in a tour, oh my gosh, that would have been awesome.
As
I mean, I
good as
get goosebumps talking about it. I'm not kidding. I'm sitting here chilling. I'm like, I just want to see that so bad.
As much as you like Revenge,
Is that Goosebumps or Hives?
yeah. Shingles. But you know, as much as you like Revenge, and you know how they finally got their shit together and they finally got their look together and all that stuff like that, Carnival of Souls to me was almost like Creatures and Destroyer. I mean, it was like, yes. I was like, man, when I heard that bootleg and you know, Hate come on, that's what I told you the other day. Hate is my #1 Gene song. I mean, that fits him perfect. And I mean, Paul's voice, you know, this did have the Alice in Chains kind of grungy kind of sound, dark. It was not a happy album. But I mean, the songs on here, Paul's voice was really good. Childhood End is a great song. Gene, I mean, even the I'll Be There, you know, the little ballad that I guess that was supposedly he wrote that for his son, Evan.
Yeah.
But I love this whole album. I mean, it is my second favorite album.
I like this is one of the only 2 studio albums that started out with a Gene song.
Right.
Yeah. I thought for this album, to me, this is where Bruce Kulick finally got to go, I'm the guitar player in this band, and this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
And it sounded a little, I mean, I think Revenge was getting there, but I think it was still very directed. But I think this album was not as directed to Bruce about how to play as Bruce playing what Bruce wanted to play. Actually, I think one of the best songs on here is I Walk Alone, which is Bruce's only song he ever sang on a Kiss album. I just thought this was a great album. So, and the reason it sounded a lot like Alice in Chains is because of the producer.
Right.
So it was Toby Wright, Gene, and Paul. Right. And you know, Toby Wright had done Alice in Chains, Korn, Primus, Slayer. You know, it was right in. I mean, they went and said, we want to make an album that sounds like Alice in Chains, so let's go get the producer for Alice in Chains, and there we go. Right. So, and there you have it. But good stuff.
Yeah, you know, it's just really funny though. I mean, diehard Kiss people, how many people hate this album? There's a lot of people that hate this album, and I don't understand it. I like it. Like I said, and I feel like a part of me got stolen away from me for this not being promoted, toured, you know.
Well, I will say about this album, I feel about this album kind of the way I felt about the Unmasked album. You know, the first few times that I heard it, I thought it was just shit. You know, but as time has gone on and as my musical tastes have changed, I go back and I listen to these albums once or twice a year just to see if anything has changed. You know, now when I first listened to Carnival of Souls, there were 3 songs on there that I liked. You know, and now I'm up to about 6 or 7 songs. I'm like, hey, that's not so bad. Right. So I can't say that at one time I hated this album. You know, right. But now
there's a lot of people out there that do.
Yeah. A lot of people. Now there's only 2 albums that hold that distinction, but they probably really don't after I listen to them a couple of more times. But we'll get there.
There you go. The only thing I thought was kind of that I didn't like about this album was really the cover. Yeah. The cover was kind of like, the cover that came out with the bootlegs was cool with the skull, with the zipper thing.
Yeah. See, and you know what? That
was cool.
That photo was at the conventions.
Yeah.
At the official Kiss conventions.
Oh.
They showed it was like a head with a zipper on it, and it looked like zip. That was what the cover was supposed to be.
Ah. Well, the cover that ended up being was pretty damn lame.
Well, it is.
I mean, that's just that actually
that looks like a phoned in. It kind of looks like a garage band.
That's the worst album cover.
Yeah, it is bad.
To me, that's the worst one. The Elder album cover is better than that one.
Even though
it only has 1 knocker.
you think Kiss? I mean, the reason why they don't promote this as much either too is I had heard this. I don't know if it's true or not, but basically this is a Eric and Bruce album. I mean, Gene, they basically came in and sang their songs, and that was about it. I mean, they had very little input. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they did probably because I think
at that time they were
working on that.
Right.
But I'm telling you,
it's a great album. I love it.
It's like sharks with blood in the water, man. They smelled that blood. You know, we're going for that. Y'all can do that, whatever.
But if they go out on this little rock the world or rock the U.S. tour or whatever the hell they're calling it.
Freedom Rock or whatever.
Freedom to Rock. And they play one song off this album. I'm fine figuring out where I can go and go to buy a ticket.
But you know what? Save your money.
They won't. I know they won't. But
you know what they're going to be playing?
Well, I know what they're
maybe
playing.
they'll have special guest Bruce
17
Kulick.
songs they've been playing. But so how many? So the diehard Kiss fans that go to like the cruise and stuff like that. So this year they're doing the deep cuts, but it all looks like Creatures, right? So they're gonna do the Creatures album this time.
Yeah. I'm not. They don't get me enough to get on the boat. No.
I like the Creatures album, but it's not really. That's not going to get me to buy. If they were going to do this, I would try to figure out how to get my ass on a boat.
What they need to do, they need to have a cruise like that, and they need to bring along Bruce and play anything. Bring Ace and Peter, and bring the whole freaking crew, and then just do all eras of Kiss.
Do it.
That ain't gonna happen because Gene don't want to learn that many songs.
Do a Residence of Vegas again called An Evening with Kiss and play something from every album
and bring everybody out
everybody out.
Oh, they would sell out. It would be just like.
Oh, you couldn't buy a ticket. Oh my! Guns N' Roses wouldn't be able. Oh, they wouldn't be able to hold their jocks.
And Gene and Paul, since this was our idea, all three of us get a ticket for us, a ticket for our spouse, and a hotel room.
And we'll take.
No, we'll just take the tickets.
We'll just take 10% of the profit from the tour. Thank you. All three of us will be sitting pretty.
Anyway,
all right, let's go on. All right, so since there aren't a lot of things to talk about with the next couple albums, all right. So the next album that we have that's a real album. Well, I guess we could talk about the box set, right? Because the box set came out in 2001.
Yeah, that was good. I got it.
Well, that came out, I guess, after Psycho Circus. So we should jump back to Psycho Circus. I jumped ahead of myself a little bit.
Hey, now.
So, is that okay?
Yes, Psycho Circus is awesome.
Okay.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly. So Psycho Circus came out. That was the way to get the original band back in the studio and try to figure out exactly how to. Well, let's see. Does Alive 3 fit in there somewhere?
We've already done Alive 3.
Oh, I'm Alive 4.
No, that's after.
Alive 4 is after the New Year's concert.
Symphony is in 2003. That's right after Psycho Circus.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm looking at it on the Kiss Online thing, and it's different.
I'm looking at it on Spotify.
Yeah,
we got him in line. So,
and I'm not looking at it.
Hey, and I also got to apologize for last week. I know there's some people that hang on trying to find little things that I say, and I missed them last week. So there's one for you.
Yeah.
They know who they're talking about. Yeah, Dave.
All right. And then, all right. So I don't want to mess that up. So we'll go back to 1998 then and try to get this right. So sorry, Psycho Circus. I think great album. Not a bad album. I don't think it's a great album. I don't think it's a bad album. I think it's got a couple of really good songs on it, and it's got some stuff on here that's just, for me, yuck.
You know what the best song on that album is to me? We Are One. My son, when Max was it was 98, so Max would have been 4 years old, and we used to go to daycare, and I had this CD in our thing, and he always, every time I got a car, Daddy, we are the one, we are one, we are one. He wanted to hear that song. He knew every word, and he'd sing that song over and over and over. He loved that song, but I thought that was a good song.
Yeah. So let's see. This album's got This is the first album with all the original members playing sometime.
Sorta.
one song.
Maybe one song.
Yeah.
I think it was really one song, right? They really all played on just one song.
The Best was the only one that they did.
You wanted the best.
Into the Void was the one that they all played on.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And I've heard rumors that Paul didn't even play guitar on that. He just sang backup on it. I don't know. I wasn't there.
But. So anyway, this was produced by Bruce Fairbairn. So they brought somebody else in, which probably wasn't a bad idea. But that always makes me wonder. It was already falling apart then, right?
Yep.
Hadn't lasted 2 years. It was already falling apart. We're in the crapper. So we got to figure out what to do. I thought for me, I liked Within. I thought Within was a good song.
Within is a terrible song live.
I
Though.
bet you
Did
do.
Well,
You beat
this
me
is
to
the
it.
only tour.
Oh my God!
This is the only tour since 1978 that I have had the chance to go to that I did not go to. I chose not to go to this tour.
I
chose,
set out this one as well.
and I chose not to go because it was exactly the same set list other than 2 songs or 3 songs from the tour before and the 3D shit that wasn't working.
3D. Okay,
It's
you're in
already
a
in 3D, dumbass.
That's what I'm saying. You're not
on a
not looking at
stage. I'm
you're looking
watching you.
I was like going, what is the purpose of this 3D bullshit?
You know,
I mean, it worked terrible. I went to Rolls or up at Holman Center. That's the first time I've ever went out up to Terre Haute to see a show. And it was I got tickets at the last minute, went up with Rod and his girlfriend at the time. And I'm telling you what, it was the worst show ever. And then Within come out, dude, it was like they'd never played it before. It was the worst.
But it should have been a good song. It's a good song on the album, but I don't think they played on it.
They didn't.
They never
Nobody
played
knew how
together.
to play it. No.
Anyway,
so
for me, I liked Within. I liked Into the Void. I thought that was a great song.
Yep.
I liked Raise Your Glasses. I think it's a little cheesy, but I liked it. And I did like.
Well, it's a Kiss song. Of course it's cheesy.
Yeah, and I did like We Are One, but the rest of it, I finally found my way. I just vomited when that started. I just wanted to throw. I'm like,
that is the only song on this album that does not pass the skip test for me. I don't. As soon as the end of the song before that is over, I'm hitting that button trying to get over it.
When it was first released,
is that contractual? They had to do that, or is that just to throw Peter a bone so he'll play on the next?
I think that had to have been. You're going to get to sing on the album, but you're going to get to sing what I write.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Because Paul wrote that song.
I remember when this thing was before it was released
Horrible.
Horrible.
I missed an opportunity. I'm so sorry.
Did.
That's horrible.
They released Psycho Circus. You know, they always send out the first song before they give you the album. I remember the first time I heard Psycho Circus, and I was like, "Oh, damn it!" I wasn't happy with it. I mean, that first time I heard it, I was like,
"Well, you were wrong, buddy."
I was wrong. No, I was right.
I love that song.
Psycho Circus is not one of my favorite songs, but it's probably one of the best opening songs of a tour.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I agree. People going. I mean, and actually, I mean, I don't know if they did it.
But
I don't know if they did it.
The music video they did for that is horrible.
Yeah. I don't know if they did Did they play the Circus music at the beginning on?
I don't remember.
No. But they had all that stuff that's on there, that CGI shit that they had on the video was on screen at the concert, and you had your 3D glasses on it, and that car was out there spinning. You know, what the fuck was that all about? You know, it's about a circus. It was terrible. Terrible.
Horrible.
Horrible. All right.
If you're going to say terrible, you got to do it Charles Barkley style.
Terrible. Horrible.
Yeah, it's the worst. That was the worst tour I think I've ever seen. It was bad. It was just not. That 3D shit. Everybody put on your glasses.
No.
All right. So 2001 brought the box set out, I believe. You guys correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't have that.
Things. I believe that, right?
That sounds correct.
If it's not right, you can tell kissonline.com that they are incorrect, whoever wants to make that correction. Anyway, 94 songs, lots of demos. I did not buy this. I do not own this.
I do, actually.
Some of this from some friends, but because this to me was just a rehash, and I'm not. What are you doing? Fly?
No, I'm looking for my box set. I had it out the other day. I was showing you something about it, and I've lost.
Looking for your box?
My box set.
Oh, sorry.
Where it went to?
Is it sitting back there on the top of your amp?
Yeah, no.
He's looking at the ground, and I sit on top of the amp.
No, it's not back here. I don't know where it's at. Anyway, no biggie. But I was going to show it to you. But
that's what she said.
We saw it last time.
Yeah. So anyway,
held it up and showed.
That's true.
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, so just
I needed to stretch anyway.
Another compilation album, and then we get into another couple of the very best of Kiss.
Well, you know,
best of Kiss.
My take on the box set was they missed an opportunity to, you know, there are tons of great demos that have been floating around in the trading circles for ages.
Yeah, there's some of those.
I have tons of these demos. You know, why did you not put those on the box set? You know, because there's so much on the box set that was officially released. Who cares?
Right.
You know, I've already bought it on cassette, vinyl, 8-track, CD. I don't need it on another CD. Give me some of that crap that you never did put out.
Right.
That's my take on the box set.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you should do with that. I mean,
There
why?
should have been more Wicked Lester on the box set too, because I thought some of that Wicked Lester stuff was kind of neat.
I like the first
Yeah.
disc is really good, and there was another one on there. That's why I wish I could find it. There was a different version of something on there. It's a little bit more acoustic. I liked real well. But anyway, there's a couple good songs on there, but it's not worth. I didn't go out and buy the one in the guitar case and all that bullshit. I bought the regular old cheap box set.
So there.
Well, you can always spend as much as you want.
Exactly.
Gene will be glad to take your money. All right, the next actual studio album, well, not studio album, but actual album was 2003's Kiss Symphony, which was a live 4, done in Australia with the Australian Symphony Orchestra. Tommy's in, Ace is out.
Peter's
back in. Eric's out again.
Eric's out. But hang on. It all changes again. I like some of the cuts off here just because they're different. The arrangements are a little bit different. I do like kind of the orchestra thing. My favorite song on this is Do You Love Me? That's my favorite Kiss song, period, anyway.
Right.
But I just thought the version was a little bit different. But, overall, it's kind of a...
what I liked about this album is there was a center part. You got your first act, second act, third act.
Yeah.
I liked the second act. I liked it with the acoustic, with the smaller...
The ensemble?
Ensemble.
Yeah.
I love that portion of it. The big blowout thing with the whole, I just don't get that. We've seen that. Metallica did that, okay? I don't get it. I mean, it's just...
So that's why Kiss did it.
It's just bombastic and all this shit, but I don't need to see it. Great Expectations, actually.
That's the highlight of this for me.
For the shitty song that was on an album, years ago, it's very good. No, in the symphony, it makes sense and it actually works out good. No. It's still creepy because Gene's, talking about little kids and it's little girls, young girls.
That's not necessarily about.
It's creepy,
yeah.
And they got all those kids out there, and it's creepy.
But no, honestly, though,
Sure Knows Something, and what was else when that Shandy, Going Blind, for those things with that little ensemble was really good, and that's quality shit there. I like that a lot.
Quality shit. There you
go. Quality shit. There you go.
Good. Is that an oxymoron?
Yeah.
So, Great Expectations on this. It was the highlight of this release for me. Right. And as far as I know, the only song on Destroyer that never got played live was Sweet Pain. So that's one of the reasons that I like that is just because everything else has been played to death.
Right.
Now there was a bootleg of the Symphony that was floating around long before they actually officially released it. And you can tell that they've gone back in and doctored it up because you can watch Gene forget the words in the Symphony, and he's cutting his eyes over looking at Paul like, what do I do?
Just keep going.
We'll
fix it. They didn't use teleprompters then because they use them now.
I think a lot of these bands should have been using teleprompters a long time ago.
Yeah.
Gene should have been using a teleprompter in '74.
Yeah. Guy with cue cards. The cheap guys.
Dang it, we got the cue cards out of order again.
Yeah.
Yep. Wait a minute, that's not the first verse.
Maybe that's why Gene sang the second verse of some of them songs first a lot, because the cue cards were wrong.
Maybe.
Could be.
Blame it on somebody else.
Anyway.
Right, so then we get into a couple more versions of some Kiss rehash catalog stuff.
Yeah, Spotify shows Millennium after that. That's the only one they showed.
And then there's this Kiss Chronicles that put all the albums in one little package you could buy, and then you get to the Millennium concert, which to me, I didn't even know that. I swear to God, didn't even know that existed.
I didn't either.
Well, that was supposed to be a live 4.
Didn't even know it was there.
They recorded that in Vancouver on New Year's Eve '99/2000, and I think that they had to kind of clean that one up a little bit. That's why it went so long before it got released, because it was actually the Millennium concert was supposed to be a live 4, and they made a big deal about it, and then they recorded it, and it was awful. That's another one, a bootleg. It hit the scene almost right after the concert happened, and is not a live 4 worthy, not a live anything worthy.
All right, so then we get a couple more. We get a Kiss Alive thing that looks like a case crate, right? It looks like
that's the one that had like
tour
the
case.
road
It's
case,
got just the road case. It looks like the Alive albums in it. Then a couple of this Icons thing where somebody took cuts off of a variety of albums and put them all together, but each person singing. And then you get to the album that is this is the album to beat all albums. It sounds just like Destroyer.
Yeah, it's the new
You're gonna
Destroyer.
love it.
Yeah,
there's nothing. You're gonna be shocked how much we've worked so hard on this album. It sounds, if you like Destroyer, you will love this album.
I tell you
Does
what.
that sound like?
Yeah.
There. Does that sound
You know
like...
what? If they would have put Back to the Stone Age on Destroyer, that album would have flopped. It's the worst song ever.
So
God.
The funny thing is,
It's horrible.
I remember when this came out and I got it because this was the other album that it was exclusive at Walmart.
Walmart exclusive,
right? Which was kind of cool because it had a lot of other
No, it
cool...
wasn't. I thought it was.
Yeah,
No,
Sonic Boom was a Walmart
Sonic Boom
exclusive.
was Walmart exclusive.
I thought okay. Oh, that's right. Because Monster
stop
is on,
thinking, Dennis. You're going to get us in
Monster is on
trouble.
Spotify.
You're wrong.
No,
You're wrong.
That's why they don't
We're
have.
telling you.
No, that's why Sonic Boom is not on Spotify. Is because
That is correct.
But they do have Monster.
Right.
You're right. I'm sorry. I was thinking.
That's right, everybody. Dennis
I
said
got
he
two
was
Spotify.
wrong.
Got it. Both of us. Two of us. Anyway, so I remember getting this and I thought the album cover was cool and I put it in and I was like, this sounds pretty good. But I didn't like Modern Day Delilah the first time I heard it on the radio.
Mm-mm.
The words to me were just stupid. I just like, this is crap.
What are you on?
So
that's not. What are you on? Sonic Boom?
yeah.
Oh, see, I'm thinking Monsters the next one. That's why I was saying Back to the Stone.
Because you didn't like Sonic Boom, you just jumped it. So
No, it's not. I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry. I don't have anything about that.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what was on the album, okay?
All right.
So it's Modern Day Delilah, Russian Roulette, Never Enough, Yes, I Know, Nobody's Perfect, Stand, Hot and Cold, All for the Glory, Danger Us, I'm an Animal, which they tried to do live. I think it lasted like two or three shows, and they went, that's not working. When Lightning Strikes, Say Yeah, and then this one is the one that has the bonus CD that's got the 15
I like that.
classic
That's
tracks
hard.
that are done by these guys, and then by the new members, and then the live 4-cut live thing from Argentina, I think is where it's from. But this was the highest debuting Kiss album ever.
Why? Because it
was a Walmart exclusive.
It was a Walmart exclusive. So
pre-sold
again, Gene's business savvy marketing plan ideas. If that was had anything to do with that, it worked. But if you remember, this is right after AC/DC did this.
I was going to say AC/DC did it first.
Aerosmith did it.
Yeah.
It was right where that was really what it was about. So this album for me, Modern Day Delilah was okay. Not something that, I don't know. It wasn't something I really liked a lot. I don't listen to it at all. Actually, one of my favorite songs on here a song that I do like is When Lightning Strikes, which is a Tommy Thayer song because I think he does a pretty good job of it. But the rest of it, I don't know. It doesn't sound a damn thing like Destroyer. I hate to tell. If you go back and look at it or listen to it, I don't know where it sounds like. But the only cool thing about this album is this tour, which was the Hottest Show on Earth tour in 2010, they came to Indiana State Fairgrounds, and that was Noah's first Kiss show.
Cool.
So for me, this album, even though I don't care for the album much, that tour has something special for me in that it was the pictures of him watching that. It was awesome.
Right.
Something I'll never forget. So
You mentioned the re-recordings on there. I had forgotten about that. The only real comment that I have about that, I was surprised at how well I liked the Gene re-recordings and how much I hated the Paul re-recordings.
Right.
You know, because
His voice is
usually Paul does pretty good in the studio, but on those particular recordings, I think Paul should have left well enough alone.
Yeah.
But I was really pleased with all of Gene's recordings, and I didn't want to like any of them.
Yeah.
I think Gene sounds better.
Yeah.
I think Gene sounds better today than he ever has.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he sounds really good. And I think it's because his voice has always been in that register. He's never tried to do anything really different with it. And I think that makes a difference. But not one of my favorite albums, I can tell you that. So then we'll move.
Actually, I couldn't find mine, my copy of it. I can't find it. So, and I'm not missed it. So I don't know.
And I don't think it's available at Walmart anymore.
And the thing is, though, when you just read off that whole list of songs, I couldn't, except for the first song and what was the one at the very end? What's the last song?
Say Yeah.
Say Yeah. That's the only two that I can actually, in my mind, think about how they go. The rest of them, I couldn't tell you how they started. I couldn't even hum them to you. That's how much I've listened to this album. This doesn't care. But there again, self-producing Kiss, I don't care for it. You know, I don't like it.
Well, and it's a Paul Stanley produced album, so it sounds like
Paul Stanley produced it.
Yep, Paul Stanley produced it. All right, so let's see. Last album. So
one that I put in front of me because that's why I made the reference off this song. So this comes off this album anyway.
Okay. So the last album, release is Monster, in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So they did some unique stuff with this album too. So you could get an extra song if you bought it at Best Buy or if you bought it at Target or something. They did some weird stuff with extra songs, maybe one or two songs. I know Last Chance was one of the songs. And was there another one called something about I'll Be There or something like that?
Take Me Below. That's a little. The one here I've got in Spotify shows Last Chance is the last song on there.
Okay.
And then Take Me Down Below was the second to the last song.
Take Me Down Below is the other one. I think that you could buy it two different versions, and they had two different last songs. So it's just a way to get people to buy it, to sell money. And they had the covers that were holograms. If you bought one cover of the CD was a hologram, and the other one was just regular, and they had all kinds of crap. But so for me, I liked the album. The songs I liked on this album were Freak. I thought that's a pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool song.
I like Freak. Yeah,
again, I like Out of This World by Tommy, but it sounds like it should be an Ace song because it's a Spaceman song, and he really. I like that song, but I don't like the fact that it's because he's the Spaceman and it's called Out of This World.
Why do they keep doing the space shit?
It's
fucking just give it up.
Stop it.
You know,
let him do something like Love Gun.
Why don't they have Eric sing a song about a litter box?
I pooped in my box today. Yeah. I mean, seriously, this shit, just because you dress up like the spaceman, don't have to make every fucking song out of a planet or a star, or, it's like just.
Yeah. Well, he could have done Torpedo Girl. So, that's.
Yeah.
And then Last Chance isn't a bad song, but this is the first album I could really tell that Paul's voice really had started to take a dive.
It's bad. I
mean, it's not very good. It just doesn't sound. For me that's
when they came out and they went on to what Leno and them other, and then they were doing Hell or Hallelujah. Man, Paul was struggling hard. I mean, there was those live broadcasts they were doing, and it was like you could tell right then. It's like, oh shit, it's done. He's in trouble.
Yep,
it was not good.
So I don't know about you guys. This album for me was just kind of like,
I tell you what though, I do like Shout Mercy.
Yeah, that's not a bad song.
Decent song, and I tell you, Gene's got a couple of good ones on here. Wall of Sound is not a bad song, and The Devil Is Me is not a bad song.
I didn't care for that.
It's not as much. I like Wall of Sound better, but Freak I do like. I think Freak's a pretty good song. But this is the one where I get to the Back to the Stone Age. Like, where in the hell? That's where you need an outside producer to say, that's a fucking terrible song. Don't ever sing it again. He needs to go out of the studio because it's stinking it up. Get it out of here. I mean, that is a terrible
Get
song.
that out of Eric's litter
oh my,
box.
oh my God! Yeah, bury it in the litter box. It's terrible. It's like, how in the hell? Who was thinking that was good?
Well,
Somebody
you
slapped
can
Gene on the
stop at
back.
who was
You know,
thinking.
yeah, exactly.
I don't think anybody was thinking.
There you go.
That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. But I tell you what,
Absolutely the problem.
If Kiss ever does another album, they need to get a producer in. They need to get an outside person to tell them when shit is bad. Because if they do another self-producing album, it's gonna be, it'll sound just like Destroyer. It'll be the new Destroyer, according to Gene.
Well, yeah.
Golly.
Why do that?
Yeah,
It's going to sound like a new Kiss album. Whatever Kiss is going to sound like.
Maybe he thinks that people will run out and buy a copy of Destroyer if they don't have it. If the new people, and they'll say,
it's probably a marketing
It's a marketing ploy.
It's a marketing ploy.
You got to see the Elder. That way they can get it sold more.
Yep. All right. That brings us to actually it brings us to I don't know what it is. So it's the last thing that got released officially was Decades of Decibels, which is
don't even know
another greatest hits album that we don't even want to talk about. So
well,
I think
why
that
did you bring it up?
Do I?
Then why did you bring it up?
Well, you can talk about it if you want to.
I didn't even know.
I don't think there's really much to talk about.
I didn't even know it existed until about 2 seconds ago.
I didn't.
Yeah, it was one of those things they put out. It's the same thing. They just kind of put a bunch of hodgepodge of a bunch of different stuff on there and resold it again.
Now that we're through all these albums, what do you think? You think they're going to record another one? Do you think they'll do another one?
Yes.
I think they're done. I honestly think they're done. I think Paul.
Well, I think they're going to try to put one more out probably in 2017. Because at one point Paul said no more albums. Gene said yes, there's going to be another album, and then Paul kind of is wishy-washy. So
the thing that they could do though is to do what like Ace did, as far as keep the song in a register where he can sing it.
Mm-hmm.
Quit trying to sing to the stars. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Write these songs where you're going to be able to sing. Make it easy on yourself. You don't have to. We don't want to see you fucking choke on stage. We want to hear you sing. And don't try to outdo yourself. So
yeah, I don't know if they will or not, and if they do, fine. I mean,
then they record an album. They're going to do only one song off of it, maybe in concert, and do the other 17 that they've been doing for the last 80 years. So
I would rather them not do a new album and do different songs on a tour than to do an album and then you got to, because really, if you're going to do a whole album and you're going to tour and you're going to do one song off of it, what's the purpose?
All right.
Because you're not making money off the albums anymore. You're not selling that many records. They're just not.
What I'd really like to see is them. Let's do one more tour. Call it the final tour, kind of like with Motley Crue. Sign a contract, whatever you got to do. Then go out on tour. Take Peter, take Ace. I'm sorry, messed him up. Take Eric. Take Bruce. Take everybody with him. Do that thing we're talking about, like that residency thing. Make it, and then travel around with it one more time, and then just shut the door. And
if you could get all of those people on board with that tour, you better start looking for the other signs of the apocalypse.
I think Bruce would do it.
Oh, Bruce would do it.
I think Ace would do it too. Actually,
I think Ace is. Well, there's been a lot of shit lately that he's hinted around. If the money was right, Ace would do it. Would Peter do it?
I don't think the money would.
A couple songs.
I don't think it's the money.
Yeah, I don't think the money would have to be right for Ace to do it. I think Ace just wants to do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I don't think you're ever going to see Peter Criss and Paul Stanley on the same stage again, because I believe there's a lot of bad blood there.
But I don't think you can.
But
really.
If he does, he could do one or two
song, maybe.
That's what I'm saying, 1 or 2 songs, and then bring Eric out and maybe back him up. Have like they did on the Unplugged.
Yeah,
run him out with two for a while.
You roll him out there in a wheelchair and prop his arms up there. And,
oh my gosh!
Maybe
he isn't that bad off. He's just
maybe Eric can stand up there like a marionette and move his hands around.
All right,
there's
now
got to be
getting a little crazy here now.
I think though the Kiss needs to come to. I think it needs to. They need they need to do something like Motley Crue did or something like that. I think Aerosmith's going to be. You're going to see that it's going to be them next year. There's talk of them. They're going to be going.
Yeah, they said that next year's their final tour.
Everybody's doing other things. Steven's got his country thing going on. You've got Brad.
Hollywood Vampires.
Well, Joe's going off with Hollywood Vampires. You got Brad going off with
Derek St. Holmes.
Derek St. Holmes doing that old thing. So they're all spread out doing something else. And they're all, like you said, they're not all spring chickens. I mean, they're getting up there in age. They just can't do this shit no more.
I think if Kiss was smart, they would do a thing in Vegas, and they would invite those guys out, and they would do a residency, and then it would be done.
Well,
everybody can come out there and go to the show and see them. They'll do a 1 month residency somewhere and just be done.
I think they need to pack it up. They just need to do it.
Just be
with dignity.
Have the dignity enough to say, you know what, it's good. We're done. We've done all we can do.
Yeah.
Because what albums? They're not going to put another album out that's going to sell 1 million records. They're not. No. It's over. That's done. So just pack it up and it's okay.
Well, speaking of packing it up with dignity, I think this would be a good place to end this episode.
I was about to wrap it up.
Well,
all right.
Wrap it up, my friend.
Wrap it up.
All right. Well, that does it for the episode number 24. Our Kiss catalog is complete.
Yay.
We will bring something else to you next week, and have to figure out what that might be.
Stay away from Kiss for a while.
Yeah.
You have to change that. I was going to say you have to scrape off your big logo.
I have to move to a different room. All right, so we're done and we're out of here. So peace out, everybody. Hope we don't lose any rockers this week. That's I guess we have to start putting that in the show every week. So
somebody check on Ozzy, please. Somebody.
There you go.
Haven't heard from him for a while. You need to make sure he's
all
okay.
Right, so we're out of here. Peace out,
Peace
everybody.
out.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.